So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about 3 things that you need to consider while you import a car from Japan or from anywhere around the globe. So the first thing we are going to discuss today is about paying attention to the change of generation in terms of certain models or certain brands that are doing a facelift into their vehicles. I will give you an example. These cars or these car manufacturers, from time to time, they can maintain the shape of certain vehicles or certain models for a long time. And other brands or other manufacturers, they can do a facelift or change of design of the vehicle and how that vehicle looks every other 5 years or every other 3 years. So when you are importing a car, you really want to pay attention to cars or to models that have already undergone facelift or generation change, so that you don't buy or import a car that belongs to a generation that has already been phased out or that will be phased out in the next 1 or 2 years. And when your vehicle arrives, it will look as old as the vehicles that have been bought into Kenya the last 10 years. I don't know whether you get my point. And I'll give you a few examples. If you are planning to import Nissan Note, you can import 2019 if you want. But the 2019 shape of Nissan Note will look as a 2012 Nissan Note. You know, a vehicle that was manufactured in 2012 Nissan Note will look as similar as a 2019 Nissan Note. But moving to 2021, Nissan Notes are undergoing a facelift. They will look completely different. So if you are importing a car that has a very new number plate and you want to look, modern for a long time, like you have the newest vehicle, on the roads, you really want to focus on a car that, has already undergone the facelift, and you can choose to buy an year newer. Right now, we are importing vehicles manufactured in 2019. If you are going for a Nissan Note, I would advise you to go for a 2020, because a 2020 year of manufacture Nissan Note will look more modern, will look more newer. The same thing if you are going for these Mazdas, Mazda Demio, Mazda Axela, and Mazda Atenza. The names of those vehicles and a slight facelift change in design and look has already happened from 2019, end of 2019 year of manufacture, all the way to 2020 and above. The Mazda Demios will now be called Mazda 2. The Axelas will, have already been phased out. They'll be called Mazda 3. And then you have Mazda 6, which are the Atenzas. So if you want, that modernity and to have possession of the newest stuff in town, you don't want to buy the last units of a generation. Okay. And the next generation of every model will come with some enhanced features and performance. So that is the second thing to consider. The other vehicle that has undergone change in facelift is also the Subaru Foresters. So right now you will not see the old XTs or the SJ5. Right now we are going into the SK9, the SKE, the E-Boxers. They already have a very robust kind of body shape and a complete look, different look from what we used to have before. So my advice is this: if you are looking for something a bit very modern, look at whether the generation will change in the next 1 or 2 years, so that you don't look to have belonged in the old generation of vehicles. I know this with the Mazda CX-8, CX-5s, because when I was buying mine is a 2018 year of manufacture, and it is the second year of the second generation. So the first generation was, I think, between 2012 all the way to 2016. Okay, so from 2017, the Mazda CX-5 underwent a facelift, some enhancement and corrections of performance from feedback from the customers. So from 2017 all the way to 2025, I can guarantee you, for the Mazda CX-5 that I have, you will not see a change in shape or a change in look until you import a 2025 year of manufacture. And a 2025 year of manufacture will be imported into Kenya, I think, 7 years from today. So at least the design that I have for my car, the look and the shape will be the same, like every other person who will import a CX5 from right now and the 7 years to come. I hope you get my point. And 7 years here, we are talking until 2032. It's only from 2033 that you will start seeing a change in design and look of the Mazda CX-5, because I saw the new generation was launched, the Mazda 2026. That's where they have a bit of facelift and change in design. So it is very important to pay attention to that. The other thing I wanted to speak to you is about how to get a car on budget when you are importing. I told you there are two options. If you are importing, it is either you want to go for a high quality car, a very well equipped vehicle in terms of trim level and specs, but you don't pay as expensive as what it could cost you to buy that locally. Or the second option is when you don't have a lot of money, but you want to compromise a little bit on the condition and the mileage and and the grade, and get something slightly a bit cheaper. So when you go to the importation business or importation process, you really need to look at your budget. If your budget is not very flexible, and in that case, if it is not on the high side, be very, very flexible with the trim level. Don't over insist on certain things. Don't over insist on leather seat. Don't over insist on sunroof. Don't over insist on powered seat or powered boot, or I don't know, whatever you want, but insist on the condition. I have seen that condition is not a big selling point for vehicles as it is for trim levels. I have seen vehicles that have low mileage, as low as 15,000 kilometers, being sold at a very, very attractive price. But when you look at the spec level of those cars, it is somehow a bit very low. You will not get anything that you would get in a high-end car. All the things that I have mentioned, the steering controls, the power seat and everything, you will not get them in that car. But one guarantee that that car is giving you is the condition. I saw a very, very nice Mazda CX-5 diesel. It had grade 5 and it had only a mileage of 20,000. And that car, let me tell you, it was very cheap to import. But when you look at its interior of that diesel 2.2 liter Mazda CX-5, it looks like the interior of my basic car. It does not have leather seat. The power seat is not there. Nothing is there inside. No heated seat, no heated steering. But the price was very attractive. If you adjust the specs slightly, let's say for a 14,000, the 20,000 kilometer CX-5 diesel that I saw, if at all it was to come with a leather seat and nothing else in addition, the price would have gone up by, let's say, 10 to 15%. So if you are focused on the budget, please disregard the specification, disregard the trims, and only focus on the condition. And this is in terms of high grade, low mileage. You will get a very good car. Okay? That is my second advice. The last advice for this video is for people who always send me screenshots of vehicles they have seen online. People will log on into, so many websites. In Japan, right now, if you Google, you will get over 50 websites that do all manner of sales of vehicles from Japan to the rest of the world. You will see people who say that they go to the auction. You will see people who will say that they are dealers. Others are intermediaries. Others are facilitators. But let me tell you, you really need to pay attention before you make any payment to any company abroad or any single person in Kenya so that they can pay or import that car for you. The most reliable sellers of vehicles from Japan will not ask you for a deposit for them to go to the auction or for them to reserve that vehicle for you. If anyone asks you for deposit, and this is not to discredit those who ask for deposit towards your vehicle price, because they will say if your vehicle is 3 million, you need to give them a deposit of 20% so that they can start the vehicle hunting process. that is still very credible. There are guys who do like that, and they can do a credible job. But now, I had an encounter with some guys who actually do the same thing. They will ask you for a deposit before they start shopping for the car. But now, where the rubber met the road is when I asked them, if you don't get a car for me in the next 1 week, because I don't want to necessarily source my car through that agent. I want to have the freedom. If I get a car with somebody else, I can still buy from another seller and not tie myself to this one. I asked him, if I give you a deposit for you to go to the auction, when can I get my money back if you don't secure a unit for me? Okay? And he said, with all innocence, that they refund the money at least after 3 months. Imagine. Okay? After 3 months, and that is when they refund. And that is not the first company actually to tell me that. I have heard that about from 3 other companies. If you make a mistake to give someone money so that they can source a car for you, and money, I don't mean towards the service fee, because the service fee is the money you pay to people who import so that they can facilitate the importation process. But there is a deposit towards your car price, that they always say it is the deposit they put into the auction so that they try and secure your unit. But the problem is that they will tell you that the time for refunding that money, it is so unfavorable that you must buy with them. Imagine someone keeping your 200K or 500,000 for 3 months because they did not secure for you a unit. It means that you will have to work with them come rain, come sunshine. And that is why a lot of people who have tried to import cars and it went wrong, it really goes wrong. And that's why I'm telling you, it is always good to reach out to people like myself who have gone through the process to just give you some guidance. Of course, I'm not a car importer. That is not my business. My business is in other sectors that probably none of you on YouTube knows. Okay? But if you come to me, I can share with you the experience that I went through, which I really love sharing, so that I help you also, to learn something from my experience without you necessarily going through the pain and the hurdles that I went through. Okay, guys, so if you want to reach out to me, there is my WhatsApp number there. Always during the weekends, we can plan something and I can share with you my notes. All right, have a great week ahead.